Liverpool back with a bang. It might have come at
Yeah.
a cost.
Yeah.
Alexander Isak picked up an injury, went off at half-time. It's always a bit harsh to ask this question, but could it be a blessing in disguise for Liverpool?
No, it's never a blessing in disguise. You don't want your star man, getting injured and picking up knocks. He's not been playing great. He's not been having an effect on the game, but you want to get him fit, and obviously it's disappointing that the first time they try and play him twice in a week, he picks up a knock. My argument to this is what's Alexander Isak been doing? What's he doing?
You mean when he was in limbo?
Yeah, he's in limbo, but come on, keep yourself fit. You're going to move, right? And they've tried to wrap him up in cotton wool, and they're drip feeding into the team. You're a professional athlete. I know you didn't want to be involved at Newcastle, but keep yourself fit. Yeah, how unfit are you? Because
is it match fitness though? Because that's something that someone like me wouldn't understand, where someone like you would understand.
Listen, give me 3 games.
I'm physically fit.
Yeah, but give me 3 games. I'm fit. 3 or 4 games in pre-season, I'm ready to go. How unfit can you be? It's been 3 months, and they're trying to give him a pre-season and get him in and get him up to speed and try and get him in there. But come on, he's still miles off it. He don't look sharp. He's not sprinting. He's picked up a knock at half-time. Disappointing, really, because, as a player, he wants to go and make that move to Liverpool and hit the ground running. Look at Ekitike. He's come in here, he's flying, he's fit, he's sharp. He's sprinting distance, he's amazing. Isak looks like he's going to pull his hamstring every time he opens up. So I'm a bit disappointed in Isak, really, because I was expecting him to go and, he's been playing in the Premier League. It doesn't have to settle in. I was expecting him to go and make things happen straight away.
When I say blessing in disguise, does it mean that he now, on a slot, now doesn't have to worry about putting Alexander Isak in? We don't know the extent of the injury, by the way.
Well, he probably won't play at the weekend.
He just knows that, right, Ekitike's up front, pick everyone around him, don't worry about Isak on this occasion against Brentford on Saturday.
Yeah, but I wouldn't start Isak anyway. I think it's getting to the point where, you want Isak in your team. Of course you do. You've signed him. He's a big money player. Everyone's talking about it. He was the summer move. Ekitike's a better player. Ekitike has been absolutely brilliant since he's come in. He's quick, he's sharp, he's good on the ball, he's got confidence. I think Ekitike believes in himself that he's better than Isak. And for me, Arne Slot's got to start looking at it and saying, OK, he's here for the future, we know that. He's going to be a big player for us. But I'm going to hang my hat on Ekitike. He's got 7 goals. So he's flying. So maybe Isak's the one who needs to sit on the back burner for a minute. We've all been talking about, when Isak comes in, Ekitike is going to go on the left, or we might be able to play him as a 2. But no, Ekitike's my main man. I'm starting him up front because he's scoring goals for me and he's doing the business.
Were they better without Salah? He came off the bench, but didn't start.
Look, how can you say Liverpool are better without Salah? It's so difficult to say that. The numbers he's put up over the years, have been astronomical. He isn't playing well at the minute. He's not playing well. He doesn't look at the races. He's snapping at shots, which normally he would slot. He should have passed one across for a tap-in last night. He's been greedy. It's a harsh question, that. I would say, at the moment, maybe, yeah. But I wasn't quite sure what formation they were playing last night. They ended up playing all over the place and everyone was a bit everywhere, but Frimpong was almost like a right winger until he got injured. At the moment, I'd say yes, they're better without Salah.
OK. Well, let's get a Liverpool fan into this debate. Then Sky Sports have partnered with Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions on their club. If you want to represent your club, you can visit the Sky Sports app for more details. Let's speak to John Gibbons now. You can also use that QR code as well as go to the Sky Sports app if you want to get involved yourself, like John Gibbons has. Right, John, before we get on to the likes of Isak and Salah, how important was it just to win last night? And does it answer any of Liverpool's recent critics?
I think it just makes us all feel a little bit better, and I presumably include the players in that as well. But as supporters, it's tough losing games, and then especially when you lose one to Man United, who fierce rivals. So it feels a little bit nicer in the office this morning than it did on Monday, that's for sure. And hopefully the players get a bit of boost as well. Listen, it doesn't solve everything. No one's pretending that everything's rosy all of a sudden, but it is a good start and it was a good performance.
John, I've got to ask you, last night, I watched the game, and look, you overrun Frankfurt in the end, quality shone through, I understand. First half hour, all over the place at the back again. The first goal you concede, terrible defending, gaps all over the pitch. You can do it against Frankfurt because they're poor and you overrun them in the end. I don't know if you can play the way you played last night in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think there's, I understand your point. I don't think Frankfurt were great, and I think they let us back in it, and it really helped the marking for the corners on the second and third. I don't expect Brentford to make it that easy for us from set pieces at the weekend, that's for sure. So I think they struggled a little bit to get the balance in midfield. First, they went for 2 from a free, and I think Szoboszlai and Curtis are used to playing in a free. They were pressing up and getting caught, and I think that was causing a few gaps. But I think once they got to grips with it, I thought it was a lot better, and it was just nice to see some better individual performances. I don't think as a unit they're quite gelling, and I think that's fair. But there were still some really good individual performances and some good goals as well. So we'll take that for a turning point, hopefully, and move forward.
They basically played 3-2-5 last night. Like it was crazy. You had Frimpong up at playing, who was like a winger. Then you had Ekitike, Isak, Wirtz, and Gakpo. Do
you quite like that, John? Do you quite like that? I mean, that's very attacking. Do the Liverpool's fans want to see that? I
think. Listen, you want to win, and I think if you win, then the tactics are great, and if you don't, then people are saying, well, why were we so open? Why were we so able to pick us apart? It's a tough balance at the moment, and the manager he's trying to create more chances. I think he's looked at it last season, and we played a lot of tight games. Listen, we were champions, but I think he's looked at it and thought there's certain games which could have gone either way. He's looking now to create more and to have games where we're winning by 4 goals like we did last night, but that does make you a little bit more open, and we're just seeing some growing pains at the moment, and then there's a couple of key players out of form, there's new players who maybe haven't hit the ground running, and so it's all combining to mean that people are looking at it and going, I'm not quite sure what we're seeing at the moment. I'm not sure that everything's working quite right, but it is still quite early in the season, and we're hoping it's going to click soon.
Yeah. We're doing a poll right now, actually, John, and the question is, are Liverpool better off without Isak and Salah in the starting 11? We've heard Jamie's views on that. Right now, would you say you are better off without them? Not when they're fit and firing, because we know that they would be in any team. But right now, would you prefer to see them not starting?
I think it's 2 separate ones for me. I think Ekitike has been really unlucky not to start more. His last start before this one was Everton, and we won that game. He scored a great goal. Yeah, then he gets himself sent off coming off the bench against Southampton. So it's his fault he doesn't play against Crystal Palace. But since then we've not seen him, and I think we're a better team with him in it. He's scoring the goals. He's the form man, and so I think that number 9 shirt should be his at the moment. And obviously with this little injury for Isak, then he's got an opportunity to grab it at the weekend, and we all hope he does. I think he's a brilliant player. He's done well. And like I say, I think the manager might look at the last 4 games that we lost and think, should he have started a couple of those? I certainly think he could, but he'll start on Saturday, and hopefully we see another goal from him. Salah, I'd always put Salah in the team, and he'll come good, Mo Salah. I think at the moment he's looking a little bit lost, but I think if he'd have started last night, we'd have still won the game sort of comfortably, and hopefully he would have got a goal. Well, maybe he would have got a goal, and that would have made him feel better. So you pick Mo Salah, you back Mo Salah. He's been Liverpool's best player in the last 10 years, in my opinion, and you saw what he offered last year. All that hasn't disappeared, and so I'd certainly rather have Mo Salah in it. And I think if you ask a few Brentford fans on here, do you want to see Salah in the team on Saturday or on the bench? They'd say on the bench.
Yeah, good point. I mean, on our poll, by the way, 75% of people are saying that it's best to drop Isak and Salah, which has surprised me a little bit. We have had a voice note from a Liverpool fan called Chris talking about Mo Salah.
I'd play Salah at the weekend against Brentford, but I don't think Slot should be scared to drop him if he's not performing.
Yeah, which I suppose is what a lot of people have been saying. Keep your voice notes coming in, by the way, and anything we're talking about on the show. In terms of Liverpool,
is he undroppable?
I think that's one for John.
Is he undroppable, John?
I mean, I guess he drops him last night, doesn't he? He's on the bench, and so that's the second Champions League game in a row.
There's a difference between resting and dropping, isn't there?
Well, it's semantics. It's how the manager tries to sell it. I mean, if you ask him, I think he'd say he was dropped. Mo Salah doesn't feel like he needs a rest. You'd be surprised to see him out for an extended period. I think that is fair to say.
If he don't play against Brentford at the weekend, he's been dropped.
It's a big story, isn't it? It's a big story if he doesn't. I think he almost is undroppable if you want to use that definition, because he's such a huge player and he's such a moments player as well. And we've all seen Salah do nothing for 88 minutes and then suddenly he carves someone open with a brilliant pass and we score. And also as well, you think, well, who else is going to play on that right-hand side?
Yeah.
You know, he brought Frimpong to do a little bit there. He's just got injured.
Yeah.
Chiesa, he doesn't want to start for whatever reason. He likes him off the bench. And so at the moment, I think he is. But as I say, I'm backing the manager on it. I'd much rather him in the team than not.
I'm not on X, but I hear that you were critical of Arne Slot after the Manchester United defeat on Sunday.
Yeah. Change your tune now, haven't you, John?
Why was that? Because you have just said you backed the manager.
Yeah, because listen, I think we were all hoping for after that international break to see something completely different, and we were all hoping to see it, and then we don't. Supporters are passionate. We get frustrated. You lose to Manchester United. It's your head's on Mars, isn't it? That's how you are as a football fan. You know, we're all got that within us. But I've always thought he's a fantastic manager. I just thought we were going to see something different after that break. And then picking the same team surprised me. And then losing late to Manchester United and seeing their fans celebrating just isn't a nice feeling. But listen, he's won the league. He's come in and done it. And I'm sure he'll get it right. He will get this team right. It's not quite there yet, but listen, you speak to any Liverpool fan, they're backing him to do the job.
What could he have done differently in that international break? If he came back and picked the same side, etc., what did you want him to be doing, given that he probably didn't have many of his players?
Well, it's a balance, I think, between do you pick players who are in form, or do you pick players who've got a very high ceiling, who've done it for you in the past but are out of form a little bit? And it is hard. And the manager, they're paid to make the decisions. They make the decisions. It's easy for us. We could sit here and say, would have done this, would have done that. But you see how well Curtis Jones played, for example, last night, and he has the whole international break off. He's there. He would have been fresh. And someone like him coming into the team at the weekend against Man United, he's a scouser as well. He knows how big that game is. Playing him rather than someone like Alexis McAllister, for example, who's a fantastic player but is so out of form at the moment. Just felt like ones like that a little bit of a strange one. Ekitike, like I say, you see his quality, but he's on the bench again, at the weekend. I think it was just a little bit puzzling for me and a few of us that he stuck with that. But then the other side to it is he knows how good McAllister is. He wants to get Isak fit and he wants to get him, firing. And so do you do that with them on the bench? As I say, it is difficult. And listen, I get frustrated, when we lose to Man United and we see it. But I do accept that the job is hard and he's having to make these decisions.
If you beat Brentford, are you back on track?
It's a hard one, really, because, you want to see a good performance there. Brentford's really tricky, so any win's a good one. You see, I thought they were really good against West Ham on Monday, albeit West Ham are struggling. I saw the problems they caused against Man United, who obviously beat us at the weekend. They're direct, they're tough. It's a great ground for them, to play in. So I think any win there, you have to say, is a really good win, and hopefully that'll say we've turned the corner and we are back on track.
John, thank you.
Cheers, John.
Tom, man.